This is a video about something very important to me. Something so important that I sometimes question where my life would be now without it. If you're watching this, you probably already know who I am and what I do, but for the sake of this video, and any random new people out there, I'm going to start this from square one. My name is Brian Howe, and my life revolves around nothing else but trying to be as productive as possible, and over the past few years, making music has basically taken over my entire life. Writing, recording, rehearsing, promoting, and playing shows, and sometimes 2 or 3 different projects at a time has definitely taken its toll on my schedule. I've tried to explore as many different genres as possible with the various projects and bands I've been a part of over the years, but I'm always looking for new things to explore and new places to go. And with that being said, a lot of people tend to ask me about how I got into making hip-hop. It all began when I was about 13 years old, and I started writing graffiti. I'd already been drawing for a while, and I found the concept of graffiti highly intriguing. So me and some of my friends started finding spots around the city to paint. This was actually one of the first places where I would come back here and paint. That had an old stupid graffiti name that was Meckers. I guess at some point in time when I started doing Sikes, I painted over my shit, said fuck Meckers. Sikes! Exclamation point, but this is still probably very, very old. Some of my friends that I had that were into graffiti were all stereotypically into hip-hop as well. So this was also my first introduction into hip-hop music. I've always been a very open-minded person when it comes to music, but at that particular time in my life, all of my interests were in metal and punk and weird electronic shit, and I think the weird electronic shit was what bridged me into hip-hop, because when I started making beats, and even a little bit before that, I started figuring out that the way that hip-hop is made is pretty similar to the way that a lot of electronic music is made, because hip-hop for the most part is an electronic music format. Blah 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 blah, and that's where my interest in hip-hop began. And I always wanted to create music ever since I knew what music was. However, I grew up in an apartment building, so it really wasn't an option for me to have anything to make music. I really wanted to play the drums. The drums were my shit, but I couldn't do it. Like I said, grew up in an apartment building, and actually, to be very specific, I grew up in this apartment building right here. Couldn't make music, however, I was really, really into video games and played a lot of those. And around the time I was in 8th grade, a video game came out for the Sony PlayStation called MTV's Music Generator that allows you to arrange and create pieces of electronic music. So I got a copy of that, and for the first time I had a way to actually make my own music. And I got really, really hooked on it. Up here, the first window on the left was my bedroom, and that's actually where I started making beats.
Heaven, the sheer terror is indescribable.
There actually used to be a tree here. There used to be a big tree right here. I have a video of my friend jumping out of that tree that I took from that bedroom window. So this is MTV Music Generator. It was made for the PlayStation 1, and it was a music application that basically let you arrange, create, and assemble pieces of electronic music. Some of my friends that I painted with and stuff would always joke about making rap songs. So I just started making beats on here, and that's pretty much how I started making hip hop.
Chris Cross, I'm sauce. I fuck your mama in the pussy. I'm the boss. You ain't nothing but begging to burn you in the pan. And I'll cut you up into pieces and ship your ass to Japan. Cause I'm feel like the flu. Niggas don't know what to do when they see me come through with my empty crew. Because we honest. No scratches at all. Yeah, we be flawless. Fall while my 9 lead. Niggas jawless. Lawless. One straight pin. Always making bitches wait. You know I got more pussy than the internet. When the bitches see my player make their nipples go in. Cause all the ladies know that I got the chain. Bitch, get on your knees. Cause I'm about to make them dirty. Let me see that face. About to make it pearly white. You know I do it right. Motherfucker, I bite nipples all night. Big fat titties on my lap. Big fat titties. What a smack. Big fat titties. Dig a jack. Big fat titties. We coming back. Take that.
Me and my friends, we just made a bunch of ridiculous songs for fun or whatever, and because of this, making all of this shit, my interest in making music started getting bigger and bigger, and I was listening to a lot of electronic-based music artists at the time, like Aphex Twin, Mindless Self-Indulgence, and Prodigy, while at the same time being exposed continuously to all of this new underground hip-hop, like Aesop Rock and MF Doom, Delta Fungi Homo Sapien, the earlier Gorilla stuff and things like that, all kind of tied together. All of those artists in this that's where it started. It was here. I still got some Final Fantasy VII save files on here. Spyro the Dragon, Final Fantasy IX, Yu-Gi-Oh! By the time that I graduated high school, all of my friends that painted either quit or moved away for school or some other thing, and I didn't have much free time because between working here at this Taco Bell and my rapidly developing interest in making music, I didn't have time for art anymore. Yeah, she hooked this up. Like, I had given up the music generator for some more like legit equipment that I bought, that I saved up with money. That's not right. That's not English. I'd given up the music generator for some more legit stuff and started building my studio with the money that I made working here. Just I remember saved up $400 and bought my first beat machine with money that I got from working at this Taco Bell. However, my interest in drawing and painting never really went away, and I don't think it ever will, because I think it was my interest in creating things from scratch that really got me into making music in the first place. But now one might wonder if I first got into making music through making art, how did I first get into making art? Stay tuned and find out. Growing up, my mom always dragged me to the hair salon with her. And one day, while I was waiting for her to get her hair done, I was sitting in the little waiting area they had, and I had noticed a magazine on the table with some video game characters on the cover. So, of course, I picked it up and started going through it. Now, I was only like 7 or 8 years old at the time, but this particular moment in my life was so crucial that I still remember everything about it. It was an issue of Time magazine that had a huge cover story about the attack of the video games, and my eyes just lit up immediately. Going through it, I stumbled across a small section about violence in video games, and then I saw some screenshots of somebody ripping a heart out of somebody else's chest, and my eyes just got even bigger. I had never seen anything so intense or so awesome. The game was called Mortal Kombat, and while I'm sure this article's intention was to warn parents about the dangers of violent video games, it had just generated a new customer. And thanks to my mom's generally oblivious nature to anything that didn't involve getting her hair done, acquiring my own copy of the game was a pretty easy task. After that, basically all of my free time, all of my free time was spent playing Mortal Kombat. Hold on a second. Like I was saying, after that, all my free time was spent playing Mortal Kombat. In fact, I loved Mortal Kombat so much that I started to develop an interest in making my own game just like Mortal Kombat. I have no idea where this spark of creativity came from, but yeah, I just started like drawing my own characters that were basically all rip-offs of the Mortal Kombat characters, and even like designed like what I thought the website for my video game would look like, and I drew up all this shit. I wish I still had it, but I just didn't keep any of that stuff. But yeah, without even realizing it, that's where my interest in drawing and art began, was drawing rip-offs of Mortal Kombat characters and shit like that. So, yeah. That's all I can really say. I'm gonna beat this guy up real quick. Hold on. Oh, that was close! It was close. It was real close. Eventually, I began to draw more and more, and started to develop a deeper appreciation for animation and art in general. I used to ride the bus into the city a lot with my uncle as a kid, and found myself becoming more and more fascinated with the graffiti that I would see along the busway on our way into the city. It didn't really register at first as being art, but as I got older and became more aware of what graffiti was, I decided that I wanted to give it a shot. And now we have come full circle. So, let's take a quick second to review. My interest in making hip-hop and making music in general developed from my interest in graffiti. My interest in graffiti developed from my interest in art as a child. And my interest in art as a child developed from my interest in Mortal Kombat. So basically, in my mind, Mortal Kombat is the reason I am who I am today. And without it, who knows what I would be doing right now. It's crazy to think that it's been almost 20 fucking years since I first took down Shang Tsung to defend Earthrealm against the forces of Outworld, and it's even crazier to think about how much impact one video game has had on my life. Thank you, Mortal Kombat. Without you, I probably never, ever would have turned out to be such a piece of shit.